Hello, wonderful people of the internet. Welcome back to another episode of Simuleos. It has been, I guess, a day or so since my last stream, and I realized I started today's stream late. Sorry about that. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. 7:15, 2:09. Thanks so much for coming in. And anyone who might be lurking in chat, hey, thanks for being here. So, today's going to be a bit of a relaxed day, kind of. I know kind of what I want to get done, but I'm not sure exactly how we're going to get from point A to point B. In addition, it's going to be a shorter stream because it's just going to be a shorter stream. I started late today, and we'll go from there. You look different. Did you do something with your hair? I haven't gotten a haircut in months because, I just haven't had time to get a haircut. That's how it is. Lord Lycon Zadiston, hey, how are you? Right, so the reason I started the stream late today was actually because I was talking to Trash Talk on Discord about my my wonderful foray into creative writing. The truth is, when I was younger, I used to write all the time. It was the thing I used to do. I used to write and write and write. But they were mainly short stories, you know? Like, I'd always write, like, these kind of surreal stories where you have a character who, I don't know, just something... It's like a normal world, but something weird happens that leads you to start thinking about the nature of existence, this type of thing. Like, that's the type of stuff that I usually write. It doesn't really have it doesn't have wide appeal. It's not really meant for anyone. It's just meant for me to write. And then if somebody reads, they read, you know, this type of thing, you know? It's one of those things that's meant to be written, not to be read type of things. But the truth is, Grimm is kind of another story that I've been writing recently. It's on GitHub. It's in an odd place right now because I just barely finished the prologue, and I'm kind of starting on chapter 1. And I was listening to Trash Talk's feedback, and I was trying to think about ways in which I can improve it. And I don't know where that's going. I don't know if I'm gonna still write it or not. But I will say that if I did, you know, start working on the algorithm archive full time. And I was able to, you know, have a YouTube channel and everything that supports me, whatever, you know, if I was able to support myself creatively, I would definitely consider doing more creative writing. And I do really want to be able to do like a creative writing stream or something like that here on Twitch. I just don't know the best way to do that. So if you guys have ideas, feel free to let me know. And I'd love to listen and try to come up with ways to, I don't know, do creative writing in a fun kind of collaborative way, you know? Okay, but that's not the point of today's stream. The point of today's stream is to focus on finishing up things that I need for the video on Gauss's Easter algorithm, right? Every time I say Gauss's Easter algorithm, I always think like Gaussian elimination, Gauss's, you know, a Gaussian distribution or something, but Easter algorithm does not usually come after Gauss's name. So let's open up Zernal PP. Let's talk about where we are. Zernal PP, and what I kind of need to make this video, what I need to finish up the chapter, all this kind of stuff. We'll go from there. Gaussian extermination. I'm pretty sure it's something different. Now, just for the record, if you guys are coming in because you saw Easter in the title and for some reason you thought this is somehow related to the political escapades of Trump, who wants to reopen up the country on Easter, that's not what I'm talking about at all. This is not a political stream. Literally, we just want to calculate the date of Easter. And I know what you're thinking. That seems like it's incredibly trivial. And the fact is, it is somewhat straightforward. But the thing is, the question of how to compute Easter fundamentally pushed the boundary of human knowledge forward for centuries, if not millennia. And, you know, we have a book, the Arcane Algorithm Archive, meant to cover arcane algorithms. And this, if anything, is an arcane algorithm to cover. So I'm pretty excited about it. Easter determination, Gaussian, what's that a play off of? Gaussian elimination, Easter determination, could be. Anyway, so let's start talking. Okay, let's go. Gauss's Easter algorithm. Okay, so if you guys have been here for previous streams, you probably heard me talk about Gauss's Easter algorithm. There's a lot of really cool things that we can talk about with it. Right now what we have is, 1, mostly the algorithm archive chapter is written. 2, we're missing a visualization of Servois's table. And 3, I do not know, but we're missing something and I can't quite place what we're missing. So this might be an algorithm without much of a... It might be that in the video I talk more about like historical significance of the algorithm more than I talk about how the algorithm works exactly. Because I have no... I tried this morning to think of new ways and I tried to think about different ways in which we could visualize the algorithm in a clearer way, and I just couldn't. So I do want to spend some time today thinking about how we might do that. And so that's kind of where we're at. We have the chapter mostly written. I have most of a visualization done for this. And then for the actual visualization of the algorithm, don't know. It's wild how Gauss came up with an algorithm 2 centuries ago for figuring out when Trump will reopen the country. Gauss, always ahead of the game. Oh gosh, I love mathematicians. Let me get some water. So right, this is kind of where we're at today. If you guys, I think I'll go ahead and describe what's so interesting about Easter, why it's so hard to calculate the date of Easter, and all this kind of stuff. And then we'll talk about the algorithm itself, why it works the way it does, all this kind of stuff. So right, let's start. And again, guys, like I said, this algorithm did fundamentally push the boundary of human knowledge for a century. So if you have trouble understanding anything that I'm saying, like if I say something that just doesn't make any physical sense to you, please ask questions, because this isn't easy, and I know it's not easy. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, just let me know, and I'll do what I can to answer them as soon as I see them in chat. Now, one other thing I want to talk about before continuing is that I did miss yesterday's stream. The reason for that is that yesterday evening, not like last night, but the night before last night, my neighbors were just playing incredibly loud music. My upstairs neighbors were playing incredibly loud music at like 1 o'clock in the morning or something dumb like this. And I just couldn't. I tried to get enough sleep the night before. I just couldn't. I was incredibly tired. I am incredibly tired now. I'm hoping to get a bit more sleep tonight. I actually have these earplugs that are NRR33. The highest earplugs I think I could find before I found these was NRR32. It's like a noise reduction rating or something like that. So it's even with the earplugs on and a white noise machine going as loud as I could, I just can't. It's just hard. I don't know if all cities are like this or if it's just I got a bad place to live. I have no idea. My point is, it's just some days I just can't sleep, and on those days it's going to be hard for me to stream at the end of the day. Okay, so let's start talking about Easter. Easter. Let's go. Right. So what is Easter? Easter is a holiday celebrated in the Christian tradition. I'm not going to talk about too much like what Easter is or why people celebrate, but I will talk about when people celebrate it. Essentially, it's celebrated the Sunday after Sunday. Ooh, let's try that one again. Sunday after what's known as the Paschal full moon. And the Paschal full moon is the first full moon of spring, which means it's the first full moon after March 21st. Now you might say, well, spring doesn't always start on March 21st. According to the Pope, it starts March 21st. SC Zero, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. So the truth is, when I do have a, oh, where is it? Ah, here it is. 1 second. Let me get it for you guys. It doesn't matter. I don't know why I even have to show this to you guys, but actually, I'm curious. So I'm speaking at a normal volume right now. And the decibel meter is reading about 70 decibels, I would say, which is, it's relatively high, right? But for some reason the night before or whatever, I mean, they were playing it like, it was like 55 decibels or something like that. Yeah, 70 decibels is what I'm reading here. So I don't know if you can see it on stream, but it's recording like, I don't know, 73, 75, something like this, between 65 and 75. I don't know what you can see there. But yeah, so when they were playing music, it was like 55 decibels, which I know doesn't sound that loud. Isn't that thing directional? Maybe it's directional. Yeah, probably directional. What happens if I point it towards me? In that case, it is, I can't tell because I can't read the screen. I have no idea. But it must be directional in some, yeah, I guess so, because I mean, like, if you look at it, this is what it looks like. So, I don't know. My point is that the music was so loud that it was almost as loud as me, speaking at a relatively, like it was louder than a whisper, is my point. And the point is, like, when you're wearing earplugs and everything, like, that type of stuff still goes through, and I just don't understand. I just don't understand why people listen to music, like, if you're in like, I guess if you're listening to it and it's in your headphones, that's fine. But like, if you're listening to music and you decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let my whole apartment complex hear me play my music at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like, come on, man. Like, you have to know that that's wrong. Like, what justifies that in your head? How can you even think that's okay? You know? On the other hand, I mean, I know I'm streaming here, and there is an off chance that people can hear me speaking, but I feel like, again, I'm measuring myself at 70 decibels, and that's relatively close to my face, you know? Like, if I bring it further away, like, you know, maybe to the floor or something like that, surely no one can hear me, you know? I don't know, maybe it was a Corona party. I mean, that's the other thing, like the coronavirus and everything, I don't understand. They have people over all the time. I don't know. All I know is that I will move out of here as soon as I can. Unfortunately, I don't think I can move out of here until January, or maybe December. I can probably move out in December. But what I am saying is that next weekend, I do intend to drive to Alabama and spend the rest of my quarantine time actually with my parents at their lake house. Now, I know I said lake house, and it makes it sound like we're super rich and we have a lake house. It's actually like a trailer on the lake, but it's nice. It's a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom actually, 2-bath. So it's big enough. Like, it is big enough that I'll be able to make my content just fine. And they have fast enough internet that everything should be okay. But I won't be able to make any content next weekend, is my point. And I know that sounds really weird because most people know me from YouTube and they haven't seen any content out since last year or something like that. But I really am doing my absolute best to get content out. Like, the way I see it, the more I work on this stream, the more I do this algorithm archive stuff, like, I just want this to be my job, and I really want to try my best to make it my job. So I'm focusing on that. I promise. I promise I am. Maybe it was a Corona party. Do people drink Corona beer at those parties? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I just don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about Corona. Like, okay, the problem is pretty much everyone is only talking about the coronavirus, which is cool. I mean, fine. Like, it's a big thing that's happening. Everyone cares about it. But, like, the problem is when everybody's talking about the coronavirus, I don't really talk to that many people. So for me, like, I'm not really talking to very many people about the coronavirus. Like, maybe 1 or 2 people, but it's not like I'm only hearing about the coronavirus. So yesterday, or the other day, I was talking about it a bit on stream, and they were like, no, don't talk about the coronavirus anymore. And I'm like, but I don't know, I haven't spoken about it too much. EVGen1 AJ, thank you so much for following, really appreciate it. Speaking of the coronavirus, I do want to I really like this visualization here. I don't know, okay, look, I know I should be doing Easter stuff, I know I should, but I just find it so interesting. Like this, I mean, I know it's morbid, I know I probably shouldn't find this interesting. After all, we have 15,000 deaths in the US alone, but it's so weird. Like, everything about this is so weird. Anyway, good news. The U.S. is now number 1. Okay, probably should not have said that's good news. This is actually probably very bad news. So I guess my point here with this whole coronavirus thing is, if you are in the U.S. or another thing the U.S. is number 1 at. If you're in the U.S. Or anywhere in the world, do your best to stay at home and not spread the virus, right? A trajectory of COVID-19 confirmed cases. Actually, I don't understand what they're plotting here. Right, okay, I see what they're plotting now. Right. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of good visualizations and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm not saying that this isn't a good visualization. It is a good visualization. I really appreciate the link. I think it's really cool. Man, I don't know. It's just the whole coronavirus thing is just, it's so weird. Like how the world is basically turned off. And then the other thing I always look at is just this. I mean, I know I shouldn't look at this. I really shouldn't. But I do. And I do. Like, here's their daily... Oh, boy. I mean, it's been going up in the past 5 days. But the stock market just basically crashed. I mean, not crashed, but it pretty crashed the other day. And it's just... You know it's going to take a while for people to get back into work. I mean, so many people are unemployed. It's just such a weird time to be in. And I feel like the only thing that's going to survive this thing, whatever this thing is like internet culture, you know? What's Dow Jones Industrial? It is it's an industrial average. It's what people typically look at when they talk about the stock market. So it's like it's an average of a bunch. I think it's an average of all stocks on the stock market. I think. I think. Although admittedly, maybe we should, top 50, I think. Yeah, something like that. But it is an average of many stocks that are doing very well in the stock market. So it is a decent representation of how the economy is doing if you think that stocks are a representation of that. Francisco CB94, Portugal is not yet that bad, and the streets are completely empty. State of emergency here. Right, yeah, you have to make it a state of emergency, otherwise you're in trouble. Check out Zoom stocks. I'm sure it went up, didn't it? Zoom. Can I just... Zoom Web Media? No, I think their stock actually also went down. Let's see, Dow. Oh, no. Actually, I'm not looking at the right thing. How do I actually look at something? So I typed in Zoom here, and this is the right thing. Zoom Web Media. Maybe they don't have stocks on Crunchbase. Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking for anymore. So yeah, I can't really do it. It's a private company. Zoom Communication Media. It's the third one. Okay, that was my bad. Zoom. Zoom Technologies Incorporated. It's not Web Media. It's Zoom Video Communications Incorporated, maybe? Well, if it's this one, they've been doing pretty well. I guess we do year to date. Yeah, so they spiked. So, yeah, I think you're right. Zoom's doing pretty well. Probably, we should have bet on that happening. Like, if I was playing the stock market, I think there are plenty of ways in which we could have played this pretty well. Zoom Video Communication. Let's look for that. ZM. Zoom Video Communications. Yeah, they're still doing pretty well, right? You go to year to date, and yeah, they've just been going up this year. If you look at the past 3 years, they're going up. But anyway, my point is, if you were playing the stock market, there are definitely ways you could have played it to make a bunch of money off of this, as people can. Like you really could have, if you wanted to. But it is what it is. I don't know if I want to get into the stock market. I've got a few $1,000s I could invest, but I don't know if it's worth doing it. Every university is using it. What triggers that? What triggers what? The Zoom? I don't know. Okay. So we were just talking about Gauss's Easter algorithm. I realized we went on a tangent about COVID-19, as most things do nowadays. So let's also start talking about the cinnamon roll message. So it was a joke when New York was here. For some reason, someone in the chat, I think I mispronounced something, as I often do, and I think I mispronounced it as cinnamon roll or something like that. I don't remember what it would be. And then someone said, "You're a cinnamon roll," in chat, and then it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of says its thing. Yep, open box, like C252 says. A lot of people have asked specifically for my theme. I might actually start, I think I should put my theme on GitHub so people can just look at it. You might have been the one to make the cinnamon roll comment. I don't remember. I don't remember where the cinnamon roll comment came from. Okay. So what's so hard about Easter? I'll do this in green. Easter. So because Easter is the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring, this means we have to keep a solar calendar in mind so that we know when Sunday is, essentially. And we also need to keep a lunar calendar in mind, right? So this means that we have to sync the lunar and solar calendars, and this gets really complicated really quickly. Hey, Trash Hulk, how are you? I think I might have been the one who made the cinnamon roll comment. I don't like OpenBox. Sorry, Panos. I mean, yeah, if you don't like OpenBox, that's cool. I mean, the thing is, like, I like what I'm using. Basically what I did is I set up this system to be the exact system that I want to work with. Like, a few years down the road, I thought about it and I was thinking what exactly I wanted out of my computer, right? How I wanted my computer to work and why I wanted it to work that way. And I created a theme that executed that, and it does exactly what I want it to do. The one change, the one difference between this system that I have now and my ideal system is that I have a desktop background. My ideal system would not have a desktop background. Have you tried i3? So the thing is, I have some semi-tiled things here. Like, for example, if I press, open up a terminal, I can kind of tile it around, do its whole thing. And I like that. But at the same time, I don't want everything to be tiled, I like the fact that that this is free floating and I can move it around like this, the fact that I can just press Alt and I can click on any window anywhere and I can move it around. I like that a lot. I really do. So don't get me wrong, tiled Windows managers are great and a lot of people really like them. But I like my floating Windows manager. As far as the black background is concerned, you can also have floating windows. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Maybe, yeah, I could consider i3. It's just, I like my setup. I think my setup's kind of nice. And, I'm going to close my zoom here. It's not for everyone. Some people don't like OpenBox. It's fine, Haven't had a background for years. So, I mean, look, this isn't like a desktop. Like, I can't put icons on it or anything. The truth is, I couldn't figure out a way to make OpenBox have, if I didn't have a desktop background, then OpenBox would naturally have a gray background, right? And I thought that was kind of weird. So I wanted a black background, and I didn't know how to add a black background. I mean, I could have just added a black background, which is probably what I should have done. But I also just put Arch Linux there. I like Arch Linux. I don't mind supporting it, I should just use a black image. That's what I should do. But I just didn't, and I don't know. I don't care about it that much, product placement. Right, what I should do is I should put my logo back there. That's what I should do. Oh, I could do that, couldn't I? Do I have it somewhere? CD, storage, images? What do I have? It has to be images, right? What else do I have? Animation, base, me, nitrogen. Okay. Me and nitrogen. What is that? Welcome to Simulate. Oh, it's me with liquid nitrogen. Right. Right. Oh, I wanted to make, so back in the day, I was trying to make so on Discord, we have this thing that says code on it. What is it? So sorry, that was some private messages. But I guess it wasn't too private. I mean, it wasn't like we said anything bad. I'm so sorry, Trash Talk. But we have this thing that says code. But I originally wanted this to be that. Like, instead of it being code, I wanted it to be this, yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for. But then they decided to go with just the code instead. So I don't know. It's fine. You put Arch background to flex your distro. I just really like Arch. I'm a big fan of Arch. It's my favorite distro. I like it a lot. But that wasn't what I was looking for. I was probably under thumbnails. CD, videos, probably lowercase v. Videos, algorithm archive. Oh, come on. Where is it? AAA. I'm just so bad with capitalization. CD into Euler. LS, CD into images. LS. Ooh, let's see what we have here. Mirage. One. Nope. This isn't what I was looking for. There's one particular. It's on my Twitter. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I'm doing this, guys. I'm so sorry. I should actually get back to work. Where's Twitter? But my... Oh, no, it's actually on YouTube, isn't it? YouTube.com. LeosOS. I could make... Come on. That my background. That wouldn't be a bad background. I kind of like that. Okay, anyway. It doesn't matter at all. I don't know why I'm going into this. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's get back to the Easter algorithm. Okay. What is this nonsense? That's my Discord. Okay. Right. So Easter's complicated because you have to match the solar and lunar calendars. That's all I'm saying. The lunar calendar works mainly on the 30-day lunar calendar where you have the moon's phases going roughly 30 days. In actuality, it's like 29.5 days. Whereas the solar calendar is on 365, as you know. There's a 19-year, what's known as a metonic cycle, where you basically have the lunar, like you have one phase of the moon on January 1st, and then 19 years later, you'll be in that exact same phase of the moon on January 1st. So there's 19 years until you're exactly in sync again. So you have to keep into account 365, 29.5, 19. You have a bunch of numbers to keep into account. It just gets complicated. This algorithm isn't so much of an algorithm as it is a very long calculation. So we had a book club discussion. It's all good. Right, that's basically all we talked about. Incidentally, C matrix with cool retro term works really well. What is C matrix? What are you doing there? Wait, what do you mean, what are you doing there? Has anyone tried to doing this end body simulation? What end body simulation? Okay, what is C matrix? I should know what this is. Terminal based. The matrix-like implementation. Oh, this guy. So you said C matrix with cool retro term works pretty well. I mean, now what are we doing? I don't understand. We are working on Gauss's Easter algorithm, right? So we are just learning about it and chatting about it. So as of yesterday and the day before that, we implemented the algorithm, and now we have a good understanding of what all the terms mean. And I can go ahead and show that here on stream. And so now it's a matter of finding appropriate ways to visualize this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show what we have. And then we're going to talk about how we do the visualization. I really need to think of a good way to visualize this method. And I know this was the exact problem we came across yesterday, but we ran into other issues, or 2 days ago, but we ran into other issues. So today, I really want to think of ways in which we can make this clear and understandable to people. So we're going to cd into projects, Simuleos, and then Computus. Same thing over here, cd projects, Simuleos, and then Computus here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into VI Gauss's Easter.jl. I know it's a lot of comments. These aren't all going to be in the algorithm archive when it's done. But yeah, it's we have all, like, we understand what each of the terms mean now. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to start by opening up Julia, using plots, because I feel like using plots. And we're just going to include Gaussian Easter. VI, why not Vim? I just, you know, why not? Maybe we don't have the command anymore. But I think I wrote about it under stream, if you wanted to take a look. It's something like, I used VI. Long ago, there was a bit of a war between the Church of Emacs and the cult of VI. In my mind, VI won. I don't use Vim. I use VI. No color, no tricks, just VI. Why? Well, it's because that's how I learned, and colors freak me out. Deal with it. Thanks for watching. Yeah, there's other good questions like, why is your code so ugly? Why are you so ugly? What's up with the cow? All these stuff. Whatever. I spent way too much time on that, and I never read it anyway. So let's go here, and I'm going to show you guys one of the, I'm going to say, one of the most, so the first application of this algorithm was to create something known as Servois's table, and we can visualize that, we can show that that works, and that's kind of where we're at. I'll explain what this is, and then we need to take some time reading through the algorithm again. And then after that, we're gonna try to figure out if we can make sense of this and show people, like give an intuitive way for people to understand how this works. That's what I'm trying to go for here. So I'm going to create a set of, oh boy. How much have I got? Like, I've done a lot of work since my last stream, apparently. And I also just apparently name all my variables. There we are. So I'm going to set A as a range of dates from 1800 to 1899. So it's all of the dates there. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to calculate the date of the Paschal full moon. Again, the first full moon after March 21st. And I'm going to do that with all these dates here. So now we're going to say computus, which is the function I created here in this file. And I'm going to just do computus.a. Run that, and now I have the dates of all the Paschal full moons. Now I'm going to reshape that guy. We're going to call it reshaped. Oh, I guess we'll call it reshaped dates. And we're going to reshape computus.a. There. Reshape computus A 10 by 10. Dimensions of what? Oh, maybe I need to. 1 second. Maybe I need to put this in parentheses. Let me just say dates are going to be equal to computus.a. And then we're going to do reshape dates are going to be the dates and 10 by 10. New dimensions 10 by 10 must keep. Oh, I think I screwed up A. It should be 1800 to 1899. And then we're going to do reshape dates here and reshape dates. And now we're just going to run. So just to be clear, the numbers that we get in this array over here are going to be the same as the numbers we get in Servois's table. Let me go ahead and show that. Servois table. I know I've Googled this before, and I know I've shown this before on stream a lot. Should be here. And so we have a table that looks like this. And all the numbers here on this table, again, the first application of Gaussian elimination, are the same as the numbers that we have here. Now, I'm not sure the best way to visualize this, but I know one way we can visualize this is just by doing a heat map. And so we'll show this heat map. And then Google seems to be suggesting something like a perpetual calendar. Okay, let me go ahead and catch up on chat here, and then we'll talk about that as well, because maybe it's better to use that. Let's think about that. Is this awesome desktop? No, this is OpenBox. We just talked about that a second ago. If you have questions about it, feel free to ask. What is Julia? Julia is a programming language. It is almost as fast as C and Fortran, but it is also about as easy to write as Python. So it kind of straddles this two-language problem where a lot of people will write their fast code in C and then call it in Python. The point of Julia is to be just as fast as C, but also just as easy to write as Python. And I think it does pretty well. I would argue it's not quite as easy to write as Python, and I would argue it's not quite as fast as C, but overall, specifically for the stuff that I do, which is predominantly GPU computing, it's pretty dang good. There you go, Zadiston, that's correct. She's my girlfriend, but really good at math. Just for the record, my girlfriend is not Julia. Her name is something else. I think some things are much easier in Julia than Python. Agreed, but I would argue that getting good performance out of Julia is much harder than getting good performance out of C or C++. I would argue that if you're trying to write good, again, performant C++ code, that's relatively easy to do. Writing good performant Julia code, on the other hand, is not. Okay, so let me take a look at this perpetual calendar thing. So perpetual calendar. Perpetual Easter calculator. My girlfriend's name is something else. Yes, something is her first name, else is her middle name. Let's see, dates of Easter and perpetual calendar. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so this is all the dates of Easter. That's cool. But like, I mean, hey Gibbous, how are you? The citation on MA is Servois calendar perpetual. Oh, right. So it is a perpetual calendar made by Servois, in which case, I guess we can call it either. Let me see. I guess we should call it Servois' perpetual calendar. That's what we should call it. Let's see. Perpetual calendar. No idea. I think the terminal S in that name is silent. Servois. Probably it's Servois. Yeah, I'd believe that. I would totally believe that. Let's go here to G. The thing is, I really want to use DuckDuckGo for everything. Like, I really do. Like, I want DuckDuckGo to replace Google, but I just can't. Like, almost every time I need to search for something, I can't find it in DuckDuckGo, and I have to go to Google. Yeah, I mean, this is what we're talking about, a list of all these tables. And I think, essentially, this is the same thing, though. But actually, this is a bit weird. Calculate the date of Easter Sunday. This is not Servois' table. This is the Easter date, whereas Servois' table, I think, only gives you the date of the... It might be Servois. Probably as well. Actually, Servois makes more sense, right? As a result of the virus, there is going to be a digital My Little Pony convention tomorrow. I'm planning to attend. Dude, have fun. I'm sure it will be fun. Yeah, let's take a look. Thanks for all the links, by the way. Really appreciate it. Let's see. What is this? Let's take a look. View image. We have January, October. What are we looking at? Calendrier perpetuel. March. Juin. I am not I don't know. It lasted 9 seasons, a full decade for a reason. Oh yeah, the show is super popular. Why are you doing this? The first page in a series, it seems. I'm sure it is. I mean, back then people had nothing better to do than calculate the date of Easter. Why are you doing this? Right, so we are, if you guys haven't been here before, you don't know what the goal of this stream is. We focus on development of a book known as the Arcane Algorithm Archive. It's meant to be a guide for people to understand algorithms and such. In some places it does pretty well, in other places it doesn't do so well. But, we're trying to get there. So, for example, this is Monte Carlo, and one of the big shticks here is that you can switch between any language we have available. So here's Monte Carlo in x86, which is amazing, by the way. And it's a cool way to express, algorithms. It's a cool way to teach and learn algorithms, with the goal of also providing an implementation for these. So the algorithm we're covering this time, seeing as it's close to the Easter season, is Gauss's Easter algorithm. And I kind of wanted to make this a series where we do an Easter algorithm every year. I think that's kind of cool because there's so many Easter algorithms and it's just kind of nice. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And there's all this kind of stuff. Let's see. I will take a look at this. And we'll go there. Okay. Anyway, I bring it up because it's an interesting example of all the ways people are coping with the whole situation. Right. The truth is, like I said before, the coronavirus thing is just so weird. It's just, I know it's not the end of the world, but it's weird that everyone, has this ever happened? Have people just decided they're just not going to go out for months on end? Is this a normal thing? Has this ever happened in the history of humanity where people just decided, hey, we're going to, take the greater good of not killing people rather than being selfish and going out? I don't know, it's somewhat altruistic in that people are willing to stay at home in order to keep humanity as a whole safe and healthy. That's really cool. On the other hand, it's tanking the economy, and that's really scary. Here's the original. Oh, thanks, man. That's what I'm looking for. Looks like it might be a table after all. Sorry about that. PDF? No, this is, I thought it was the same thing. 1918, they didn't have social media to both spread the word and also spread the misinformation. Yeah, I guess that's fair. The kind of thing that's happened before, but I can't imagine any other time it's happened at this scale. Right. I believe it had a huge part in leading to the Great Depression. Wait, what had a great part in leading to the Great Depression? I wish I could read this. The truth is, I'm terrified of there being another Great Depression. I need to keep this because I'm going to have to cite this in the algorithm archive. I'm terrified of this economic downturn actually turning into something worse than any of the recessions we've had recently, I know I shouldn't be terrified of that, but I am kind of terrified of that, and again, maybe I shouldn't be, but I am a bit, that's because I know the Great Depression was awful, and I know the Great Depression was one of the leading contributing factors into, World War II, for example. There's so many things that it led to. It's just insane, let's see. Let's take a look. What's happening now is a bit different, very different than what was happening before. Let's see. I think it's a bit unfair to compare them. The paper is talking about constructing a perpetual calendar, and the Easter table is a minimal version of from what I can tell. Right, but this is the exact minimal table I've been finding in other sites. I just didn't find the link, apparently, because I'm an idiot. So this is great. This is exactly what I wanted. Economic effects of the 1980 influenza pandemic. Oh boy, so you're telling me that it is potentially feasible for this economic downturn to be bad enough that it leads to a Great Depression. Oh boy. While not a primary focus of this report, the influenza pandemic in 1918 resulted in great human suffering in select areas as increasing body counts overwhelmed city and medical officials. Right? Great majority, great handicap. Okay, so they didn't call it depression, but let's just look for No, depression isn't here. Okay. The paper is talking about the construction of perpetual calendar. Not many are making that connection yet. Yeah, I'm being very... Yeah, I'm being very, like, I don't know what the word is. It's not hypochondriac. What's the word that means like you're paranoid? Paranoid is the word I'm looking for. Oh, right. Let's just move that over there as well. Which means I can probably delete this link and that link. Actually, no, I want this link. And then I think we can get rid of this guy and that guy and some of these guys as well. So we can get rid of all these guys. I think we're okay. My understanding is that a major cause of the Great Depression was large-scale financial foolishness, not unlike the 2008 recession. In this case, people not knowing how the stock market works, and how banks should be designed. Right. I like cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic. No, I'm cautiously pessimistic. Right. I don't know. We'll see. Back in '08, I remember watching the news and not really caring about the economy. I still find it hard to worry about. Well, right. It's just, so the issue isn't, I'm worried that this is going to be worse than like '08. You know, I'm worried this is going to be like, again, I'm worried it's going to be Great Depression levels bad. Like, that's what I'm worried about. Because that's when you get to points where, like, you know, we were doing so well. Like, honestly, I thought, maybe just as a biased American, I thought that honestly, we'd been doing pretty well. You know, as a society. I know Americans were doing pretty bad. Like, I know we probably shouldn't have started the wars that we recently started. I know, you know, since, you know, the Cold War and everything, I just thought the last 20 years have been relatively okay. You know, like there haven't been too many like crazy things. I mean, yeah, I guess 2001, you know, and 9/11. And I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's been kind of okay for the past few decades. Like, since I've been alive, I can't think of anything that's like really crazy, you know, that like, you know, I can't think of ever going back into a total war situation. And I'm terrified that worldwide economic unrest would do that, you know? And that's what I don't want to happen. Like, we were so close to being able to, like, I feel like if we kept going on the trajectory that we were going in for the past 2 decades, that we would, in maybe 50 years or so, actually have a world that's almost utopic. Utopian-ish, utopic. I don't know what the word is here, but like a world that's like free of war, free of, you know, famine, free of all this kind of stuff. Like, that's what I was hoping for. Let's see. My understanding is that a major cause of the Great Depression was large-scale financial foolishness. Back in '08, I remember watching the news. If the market completely crashes due solely to a lack of activity, that'd be unique and very interesting for political theory. Wait, what do you mean? Like, it's not just market completely crashes. How does the market work without activity? The market only works with activity, doesn't it? Or am I completely off base there? Will there be a lot? There will be a lot of out of work people. Yeah, there currently are a lot of out of work people. Maybe it'll change if I get a job. I'll start to care. Don't do war, kids. I personally describe 9/11 as the most impossible event in modern history. I'm curious, does that scan? What do you mean, does that scan? I don't know if I necessarily agree with that as the most impossible event in modern history. I think it's important to remember that the best days in some countries will never even come close to the worst days in the U.S. and many other developed countries. I agree. Completely agree. Which is why, again, I mentioned that I'm biased, you know. Lennon did so too. Hey, T.S. Jost, how are you? Let's see. A world war is unlikely because of nukes and interconnected economies and a lot of democracy. Right. But if you remove the interconnected economies, all of a sudden, I don't know, you could see people... I mean, heck, we just had a president that called North Korea's Kim Jong-un a little rocket man. Like, we're in a very weird history right now. We're in a very weird spot. I don't know. There's still nukes, right? I mean, there are still nukes, but I mean, someone could be dumb enough to use it, you know, in a pinch. Does that make sense? In a particularly, I don't know if I would claim that 9/11 is the most impossible event in modern history. I mean, I can see how it, you know, came to be. I see how terrorism came to be. I see why we're here, but I don't know. It's just I want to stop talking about this. I need to stop talking about this, but I'm going to keep talking about it because I'm incredibly interested in it, you know? Like, I'm everyone's interested in it, you know? Safeguarding peace as long as the world leaders are rational. Right. But the problem is we don't have rational world leaders. We're not in that spot, you know? A big if, but still, right? Because the problem is, I don't think, and this is the thing that I think was proved in 2016, although admittedly maybe it was proved before that, I don't think a large democratic republic actually works as well as we think it should. Because I think giving power to the people, though in principle is a great idea when compared to a monarchy, means that you're going to have a whole bunch of stupid people voting. Like, I just think that's what's going to happen. And when you get a bunch of stupid people voting, it doesn't matter how, all that matters is your charisma, not your intelligence, right? And a lot of times intelligent people aren't too charismatic, you know? I don't know. It's just, that's not a hill I'm willing to die on. I'm just saying that I tend to feel that there's a lot of problems, and I just want those problems to go away. So you kind of come up with, ways in which you come up with theories, you know, different. When I was younger, I used to come up with these models. Like, I used to try to find ways to make democracy better. Like, I was like, hey, what could we do that would be better than democracy? And I thought of all these different things. My favorite was, I thought of this way in which creativity itself was the primary, like, you provide, what was it? There was some sort of economic incentive to create rather than consume. That was what I was trying to figure out how to do. Because I figured if everyone was creating things rather than consuming things, then, you know, this would help the economic situation out. I don't know. I don't remember all the details of it, but I remember being especially proud of this thought. And then I threw it away recently because I just did. I don't know. That's more of an economic thing than a democratic thing. I came up with a similar economic... So I came up with the economic model that would allow for a political model that was slightly different. I don't remember everything. I got to go back to it. I'm sorry. I'm just rambling now. On a related note, I found a really interesting alternate history premise the other day. Apparently, around the time of the Watergate scandal, someone attempted to assassinate Nixon by hijacking a plane and crashing into the White House. The attempt, thankfully, was a complete failure. It literally didn't get off the ground. Huh. You have to eliminate lobbyists and spur PACs and all campaign spending. See, that fixes the immediate problem, but I'm saying democracy itself is flawed. Not just Congress, not just... I mean, we're not a democracy, we're a republic, but I'm saying that is flawed. I'm saying that idea that we can allow people to vote for their... I think that's flawed. And I came up with this way to distribute the work, like massively distribute the work. So we don't have representatives at all, and I don't know. I don't know. Any average Joe should be able to run on signatures alone, and not just have an edge because of lack of money. I kind of agree with that, but yeah, I don't know. Right, we need to stop talking about politics. This isn't a politics channel. We're on science and technology. We should talk about science and technology. American democracy is somewhat flawed. Doing democracy can be done better. Yeah, that's also true, right? Like, American democracy is one of the oldest forms of... I'm going to say the American Democratic Republic is one of the oldest forms of a democratic republic currently in existence. Therefore, it has a lot of... I mean, it's like you're running off of old code, you know? There's definitely going to be issues with that old code you're running off of, and you've got to fix those bugs. You've got to, you know, patch it up, and we haven't done the appropriate patching, you know? Also, the premise that the FECs can do anything besides emergency relief. I think you mean feds. And national defense is the other problem. If we can't do something in California or Texas or Rhode Island, how would we possibly do that at the federal level? Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too, right? Like, the problem is the U.S. was naturally designed as a... It was naturally designed as a federation of states. Like, that's originally what it was, a federation. You know, it wasn't designed as a single cohesive unit, and it wasn't even thought of as a single cohesive unit until the Civil War. After the Civil War, it became a union. And that's why everything's so weird. When the U.S. Constitution was written, it wasn't written as kind of so much one country, but a combination of states, more like the European Union is, you know? I don't know. Congress should get in the habit of updating the democracy regularly. Yeah, I agree with that. I think we should put the entire legal system on a version control system like Git. Honestly, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think there's ways to make that work. This code is 300 years old. In fact, this code is younger than the U.S. I know this is some really old code, but it's still younger. The U.S. is 1776, right? So, this is 1800. It's kind of... Wow, that's amazing. To think about the fact that Gauss was alive during the same time as the American Revolution. Or around the time. Like, that's incredible. I never really... Gauss was born basically the year after the American Revolution ended. Like, what? How How? How? How does that historically make sense? Oh, I guess this code and the Easter algorithm and also the Constitution are about the same age. So, anyway, we should get back to talking about the code, not the Constitution. This is not a political stream. I'm not very good with politics, nor do I pretend to be. 1776 is the traditional date. The Revolutionary War ended in 1783, so that's the date you're looking for here. You're right. I knew it wasn't 1777 or 1776, but I didn't remember the exact date. Okay, so let's talk about what this is. And while I'm going through this algorithm, I'm particularly interested in ways in which you guys can think to visualize this particular process. Like, what will help you intuitively understand? Basically, tell me what parts are not intuitive about this, right? There's a lot of it. The whole thing might not be intuitive, but tell me what you think we can make more intuitive with some sort of visualization. That's what I'm trying to find. Isn't there that whole thing about woolly mammoths were still around when the pyramids were built? Do a planetary simulation? I thought about that as well, but then I started thinking, like, if you do a planetary simulation, okay, let's talk about that, right? So the issue is you have the solar and lunar calendars, right? So I honestly, this means that it doesn't actually show anything. So here's the sun, and then you've got the earth, which I guess I'll draw in green, and then around that you've got the moon, right? So the moon's going this way, and then we are going, I don't know, this way. I'll say, I actually don't know which way we're going. But, we're going one way, the moon is going one way, right? And so we can say that this over here is going to be, maybe I draw it like, this is going to be 29.5, and this guy is going to be 365, right? So I could do an entire thing where we see this moving and moving and moving, and then around that you see the moon tracking it. So it goes like something like this, right? But actually what's happening here, right? So how does this work? So it's going to be basically 12 cycles. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And then it's just going to get really messy. Like you do it 12 more times. So you're just going to have a whole bunch of scribbles. And then eventually you'll be at the start of the same cycle again, right? So like, I couldn't find a way to make that intuitive either. You don't show the trail, but rather animate it, right? But the reason I want to show the trail is because the 19-year cycle, you specifically need to show... Oh, okay, wait. What if I show the trail for the first year? So I show the trail for just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you should throw it for the first year, right? And then you stop it. And then you let it move, and you let it move, and you let it move. And then after 19 years, right, you then show that your Earth, your moon is following the exact same trajectory, right? That would be actually pretty useful. So we could do this for the Metonic cycle. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. That'd actually be pretty nice. And it wouldn't be too hard to visualize, I don't think. Drawing the line would be quite tough, but it's doable. I could do it in a day. That's not too bad of a visualization. So that'd be a pretty good visualization of the Metonic cycle, actually. I think so. Yeah, I like that one, actually. Yep, because if we just draw yep, that's a good one. Okay, so that's the Metonic cycle. And so that helps us calculate A. It's what I did for my GR precession simulations. Right, yeah, we can... I don't want to do a full, I don't want to do a full simulation here, because we know this mathematically, so I think we can just draw it. Like, I think... because if I do a full planetary simulation, there could be an issue. Oh, actually, if you already have code to show the visualization, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Well, let me see what you did. Maybe we could go for a combination of ideas here. Illustrate the individual cycles like that. Illustrate how they are combined with the dials. Right, so I don't know what you want me to do with the dials. So let me actually read through this. And then we're going to figure out what we need to do to make this good. Okay, so the way the Gauss's Easter algorithm works is we calculate a bunch of variables. And these variables allow us to calculate two things. One is our location. Two things we need to calculate. One is the date of the Paschal full moon. And the next is the date of the following Sunday after the Paschal full moon. So those are the two things we're trying to calculate. To do so, the first thing we find is A, which is the year's position on that 19-year lunar cycle. So the 19-year Metonic lunar cycle is, a 19-year cycle where the moon and sun are out of phase. So the idea is for 1 year, or rather for the first lunar month or whatever, your moon is going to be going through phases A through E. It's just going to be going through its phases, right? And then it won't be until 19 years later that the solar calendar syncs up with that again, so that on the exact same days on your solar calendar, let's say January 1st through 30th, your lunar calendar is the same, right? So basically you'll have one point where they're synced, and then 19 years later they'll sync up at that point again, right? So that's the 19-year calendar. The next is K, which is our century index. I don't feel like we need to visualize that. It's the century index. Should be pretty straightforward. This one, though, we do need to figure out a good way to understand. So this is a shift in the Metonic cycle, right? So this P is equal to 4 of 13 plus 8 over K divided by 25. Basically, 8 over 25 is roughly 1/3. So every 300 years, we add a day. 13 is an offset. So basically, we're 8 days off every 2,500 years. This is something I'm not... The point is, this is a shift to where we are in the Metonic cycle, because the 19-year cycle is slightly off. So we're fixing that 19-year cycle, right? And then we also have to fix it from the other way. We have to fix the solar calendar. So Q here, when combined with K, allows for us to take into account the 97 leap days every 400 years, right? So on the one hand, we fix the Metonic cycle to be more correct. On the other hand, we fix the solar calendar to be a bit more correct, okay? After that, we then go into finding the next Sunday, right? So this N calculation is the difference in the number of leap days between the Gregorian and Julian calendars, right? So 4 is equal to the number of leap days per year. It's also an offset. I think I screwed up there. So 4 is an offset. And K minus Q is the number of additional leap days, and mod 7 is because it's over a week, right? So 4 plus K minus Q means that you're adding a few leap days for K minus Q, because that's the number of leap days that you're off. And then you have, you're adding that to your days of the week. So that way you can get the calendar synced up. So this is basically just dealing with leap days. So that's your correction for leap days. And now this is the number of days from March 21st to the full moon. So D is going to be 19 times A plus M over 30. Now you might think that, you know, the 19 here is the same as the 19 in the Metonic calendar, but it's not. The 19 here is simply because your moon year is going to be basically 12 lunar months, which is going to be 354 days. But that's 11 days shorter than the actual year, and mod negative 11 of 30 is 19. So you have to multiply 19 by A here. So like this difference, which we can also show here. So this difference of 11 days between 12 lunar months and 365 days is why we have to multiply this by 18. And then we add M, which again is kind of a correction to the starting point. So it's just an offset. Okay, so now you have B and C, which are designed so that when you put them together, 2B plus 4C add together so that every time you go up by 1 year, you subtract 1 from the overall calculation. So this means that every time you go forward a year, instead of being on Monday for January 1st, you're now on Sunday for January 1st or something like that. And then E is a sum of all of these terms to figure out how many days you are from D, which is the number of days from March 22nd until the next Sunday. That's all it is. Let me catch up on chat. Taker, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. Let's see. I mentioned my dials earlier. I know you mentioned the dials, and I forgot. I thought the dials were meant to represent... I think the dials would accomplish the same things visually. Might be a bit redundant. That's for me, though. Right, so the dials would help understanding modular arithmetic, I think. I think that's the thing. Hey, Strix, how are you? I'm suggesting mainly that the dials are used to represent top-level cycles that we need to combine: Metonic, weekday, cycle, leap day, leap years. Okay, let's think about that. So the things that we need to visualize are the following. Let me try redoing this visualization here. Okay, so this is going to go around 12 times. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and then there's going to be a little slice here, and I guess we'll do this in red. I don't really care. Little slice here. Let me try drawing this again. There and there, which is going to be a span of 11 days, right? Okay, so this helps us understand. So this here helps us understand the 19-year Metonic cycle. So this helps us understand A. and it also helps us understand D. Okay, I think that's pretty useful. I thought you said no. The no stream was yesterday. Sorry, it was a day off or some people only saw it a day afterwards. Found the original post I made. Yeah, let's take a look. I'm sure I saw it and I just forgot it. I'm so sorry. My memory is like bad. My memory's really bad. Oh, okay. Ooh boy. That looks nice. When did you post this? How did I forget about this? That's amazing. Great job. I mean, I really like it. Oh man, I love this community so much. Everyone's just so cool. Oh, it's not showing up on stream? Oh, okay, let me try that again. It's probably because it opened up in MPlayer. So it downloaded, so I can probably CD into downloads. And what was it called? It was called MPV 3.6. Oh, there it is. No, actually, no, I don't know where it is. Where did this download to? Downloaded to gr.mp4. So if we go here and we do MPV gr.mp4, I think you can see it now. Right? Right? Hey, New York, how are you? I thought I had gone insane. No, you're right. So there's one particular, if I open it up in MPlayer, it doesn't show up on stream. So I have to show it in MPV, and you should be able to see it now. I can just loop that while catching up on chat. Why not? Okay. Let's see. What do we have here? The Hacker123. Thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. Context? Yeah, I'll take a look. Can I open this up in... Is this allowed? Can I just open this up here? Or do I have to open this up in Discord? I don't know. I don't know how these links... Oh, it's gonna... Why can't... I'll check that. I mean, is there a way to... What happens if I click this? Does that open it up naturally in Discord? Oh, I don't think so. I don't know how this works. I'm just bad at the internet. Let's see. Discord context. Okay, so... I like this visualization now. I think this visualization is really nice. It gives us that cycle, right? And then it says that we have an 11-year difference, and that 11-day difference, and that helps us understand the 19 in D. And then also we can just allow the orbit to keep going for 19 years, and we should be able to go from there. You can click on the link in Discord, and it should work. Okay, so let me... Can I send messages to myself in Discord? Oh, you probably sent me the link. I already did a bad job. I'll check it after stream because I don't want to I don't know what we talked about last, and I'm afraid to open it up oh, why don't I just do this? Why am I an idiot? I have a screen for this. I think you can see me. What do you guys see on stream? Doing something embarrassing. Don't look, but I think you can hear me. Oh boy, okay. Now we've opened it up. Okay. And now you should be able to see me again. Crap. What happened? Let me try that again. Okay. So now we're going to do this. Now you should be able to see me again. Okay. So I'm going to think for physics class. Oh, it was for physics class. As comparison to Newtonian and Schwarzschild orbits. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's so cool. Archly with open box. Thanks, Bachuleos. And see you now. Right, you should be able to see me now. Seriously, light. What? Who? Why is everyone so mad at me using light mode? Like every time I open up Discord, people are mad at me for using light mode. It's like, come on, like, why not? You're hereby banned from the internet for using light mode. You guys, okay, I swear, I bet most of the people watching this channel right now use light mode for the internet. If you don't use light, if you're Google, I swear you have to use. If you guys don't use light mode for the internet, I'm actually genuinely confused. Like, what? Google, it's a Discord meme. I know it's a Discord meme, but yeah, whatever. Okay, I should stop. Okay. So what else do we have to do? Mine is dark. I know some people's is going to be dark, but I would argue most people watching this stream probably use the light mode for the internet. Okay, so the other suggestion we had was from Gibbous. Let's open this up. So Gibbous mentioned having dials. So let's talk about this dials idea. Journal, new page 4. So what do we need to keep in track? We have to keep the metonic cycle in our mind. We also have to keep the lunar cycle. And we also have to keep the solar cycle. Okay? What other cycles do we have? What other modulos do we have? So we have 30 for the lunar cycle, the weekly cycle. Okay? Okay. And then apparently we have a modulo 4, which is going to be leap year cycle. Okay. So how do we combine all these cycles together? That's the question. We could make a very complicated dial that has the metonic cycle, the lunar cycle, the solar cycle. Oh, that doesn't make any sense, does it? It'd have to be the solar cycle on the outside. Let's color these guys. So it's going to have to be the solar cycle on the outside because that's going to be our calendar. So this is a solar cycle. On the inside of the solar cycle, we're going to have to put the lunar cycle. Nope, I don't understand anymore. I'm lost. No, there's no way we can combine these, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think we can add, like, we can't make these, we can't have all these dials together, I don't think. No, we can. So then we do the lunar cycle, which is going to be blue. And then we're going to have the weekly cycle, or the metonic cycle. And I guess the metonic cycle actually has to be 19 solar cycles out here. And then we're going to have to do the weekly cycle, which I guess I'll do in orange in here. And then the leap year cycle, which is going to be, I'll do it in gray, I guess, here. Oh boy, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I actually just do a clock with 5 hands. See, here you guys are thinking of actual solutions. I'm just here trying to draw circles. Use light mode in terminals? What kind of monster are you, man? Light mode is superior because of astigmatism. I actually have an astigmatism, so maybe that's why I like light mode better. I don't know. I use space mode and use your command line on dark mode. I used to have sunglasses around specifically for when I opened up Discord. I think you might want to combine line graph or similar for this. Mayan calendar, or actually do a clock with 5 hands. Don't combine the dials. Make them physically separate, like in a line. It's interesting. I actually didn't either, but I do know that sometimes things are a bit easier for me to read. Okay. So what you guys are saying is, okay, so Gibbous says don't combine the dials, make them physically separate, like in a line. So we're saying we have clock here, and then we have, that's not how you draw a clock hand. So here we have here. So we'll have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The smallest unit we have is the day. So that would mean we would have, no, I guess we have, how, if we have multiple hands on a clock, and that's how we're doing this, one clock is going to have to go from 0 to 365. Every hand is going to have a different, I don't understand. We do gears of varying diameter. I feel like that's just going to confuse people. I'm trying to think here, like, so like day would be your second hand, which goes from 0 to 60. Right. So in a normal clock, you have different counts, right? You have your second hand, which goes from like 0 to 60. So each one of these hands would then have a different count. Hey, Rotten GG, how are you? And we would, clock would have, right, it would have color-coded hands. So I guess if we're following from before, we would say, like, you know, this would be the solar hand or something like that. So we from 0 to, oh, well, let's try that one again. from like, I guess 1 to 366 or something. 1 to 365? I don't know how numbers work. So we'll count from like 1 to 365, and that's gonna be our solar. And then we're gonna have a like a weekly calendar that's gonna go from like 1 to 7, and so we'll be like on a Wednesday or something like that. And then we'll have a 52 if we want weeks. Right, instead of being day of the right, but the issue is we don't want day of the week, we want day in the week, because what we're looking for is the next Sunday. We're trying to find when this red dial, we're trying to find when the red dial is here and then the lunar dial is here. Like, we're trying to find a particular time, right? So you could combine the displays. You're going to get something that's visually chaotic, where you can't keep track of any individual variable. Right, that's what I'm saying. I think that's true. To have separate dials arranged in a row. Okay, I don't know what that means. Separate dials arranged in a row. So you're saying, okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and these are all separate clocks. What are the periods again? The periods are going to be 19 years, 30 days, 365 days, 7 days, and then 4 years. Right, something like that. Although I don't understand, the leap year one is actually going to be kind of hard, because you add one. Yeah, I have to think about how to do the leap year, because this is like a correction, so you have to add one. Oh, this is super complicated. But the thing is, if you have them all on a single clock, then you can do this thing where you're looking for, like, for example, the day hand has to be at 1. So this has to be Sunday, and this has to be the partial full moon, right? So you're just looking for a particular time. And instead of it being like 7:30, p.m., so it's 7 on the hour hand at 30 minutes, the thing you're trying to understand is that the certain variables represent the state of a certain cycle, and the dials will do that visually. Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. I need to think about it some more. I agree that this gives you a good visual representation of it. It's already technically in the math. It is indeed a complicated issue. Thanks, Bowmaster Flex. I appreciate that someone understands my issue. No, but I think this is what I'm going to look for. So I think the first visualization, I think that this visualization is one that we absolutely need. I didn't think about it before. I think we needed it before, but now I think that this would work pretty well. I think this works very well. And then what we can do, so the first visualization we show is this one. Right? So we show this one showing that we have the moon circling the Earth and the Earth circling the sun, right? And that'll give us our lunar cycle, right? And it will also give us the day offset here for 11 years. And I think that's a good visualization. And then we can immediately move that to the dial situation, where we say, okay, well, let's think about this not as, the moon. So then I could just be like, okay, so now the moon here in blue becomes our blue dial here, and then the Earth in green or something, or the sun in yellow becomes our yellow dial here, or something like that. I suggested half the visualization. My dials would visualize how you combine everything at the top level, but not how you get those cycles in the first place. Okay, so now I'm a bit confused. So it's just suggesting half. I'm just suggesting half the visualization. My dials would visualize how you combine everything at the top level, but not how you get those cycles. So you're saying that, like, you're saying that if you add 3 and 2 in mod 7 arithmetic, you get 5. He's saying they figure out the clock hands, but not the gears. I think I'm just lost. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do... I may have made you lost. It's okay. I get lost a lot. Like, that's the nature of this stream, being lost. So I think what I'll do is I think we have the elements that we need. I think we kind of know where we're going with this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back tomorrow for what should be a longer stream. And I'm going to get this visualization done. Right? So that's going to be our Saturday stream, getting this visualization done. On Sunday, and then I'm going to do my best to actually get this visualization and that visualization done. I'm going to try to do both those visualizations tomorrow on stream. I'm just going to do a longer stream to get that done. Then, after that, I should have everything ready so I can make the video on Sunday and get it out on Monday. I think that's what we're going to look for. Hey, Geek Panther, how are you? Kronborg10 and Bowmaster Flex, thank you guys so much for following. So I think that's what we'll do tomorrow. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start, but I'm probably going to start at like 4 o'clock p.m. my time, which is, well, maybe even earlier. I might start at 2 o'clock p.m. I don't know. I'm going to try to get everything ready so that I can do a long stream, get all the visualizations done, and that's what we'll try for tomorrow. And then I'll make the video on Sunday and hopefully get it out Monday-ish or something like that. That's what I'm going to shoot for. It's a bit of a short deadline, but I need to put these deadlines on myself to get actual work done. So I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing too is that April Fool's is coming up on April 1st. I used to do videos for April Fool's, but I deleted all those videos because I hated myself. So I was thinking about doing an April Fool's Day video immediately after this one is out, using the same visualization methods. Maybe like this dial-based visualization method. I don't know why I circled it like this, but this dial-based visualization method or something to explain the Simuleos or the Leos OS calendar, right? So to explain the date of my next upload is what I was thinking of. So I really wanted to like find a way to make it like some stupidly complicated algorithm to calculate when the date of my next upload is going to be. But I want it to be such that in the next few years, it's actually incredibly periodic. And then I wanted to stick to that schedule, right? So I wanted to be able to put a schedule forward that's like 2 weeks sometimes, 3 weeks other times, like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, like just some sort of weird thing that just doesn't make any sense. That makes it so according to this calendar, it made perfect sense that I was away for a year and 3 months. But then after this, it's like all of a sudden I have a spike for like 2 weeks and then like nothing. And then 3 weeks later, there's another spike. And so it's just like, here's a date, and then here's a date, and then here's a date. And I just really want to do my best to keep to that schedule. Because I think it'd be really stupid. Because people are going to be like, come on, this is the dumbest video I've ever seen. And then after that, be like, this is actually my upload schedule. And then from then on, I really wanted it to be that April 1st is like my, the day that I put out like my schedule for that year or something. I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot, and I don't know exactly the best way to do it, but I really want to try it. Okay, so let me go back to Twitch. Let's see who's live and who we want to raid at the end of the stream. We have Bernie Sanders. Let's see. Extra credits. Lana Lux. Let's see. Mr. Horologist. We were just talking about clocks and dials. Maybe we should raid Mr. Horologist. He's he does clocks and stuff. So I think this would actually be a great segue from what we were talking about into the next person. So let's go and start that raid. Raid Mr. Horologist. And we will call it for today. Did I misspell it? There's an underscore. Mr. Horologist. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time it happens to your time. Again, I'm going to try to be live for a bit longer tomorrow, doing a long stream, doing as many visualizations as we can to get this video ready by Monday. And I might even come back on Sunday to do a video editing stream. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for coming in, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.